All right, folks, this is Haris Sultan, and today we're talking about the Muslim propaganda that's been going around regarding Israel-Hamas ceasefire. There is currently a ceasefire between Hamas and Israel. I think it's for 4 days. Israel has agreed to release some prisoners, and in exchange, Hamas would release some hostages. And in the meantime, there's going to be no fire. So Hamas is releasing these hostages in tranches because they want to extend this ceasefire as long as they can so they can regroup and they can stop this momentum of the IDF. But we're not going to focus on that because I think neither one of us are war strategists or military personnel. So we're going to talk about this propaganda that is taking place on social media by these Muslim apologists. So all these Muslim Twitter accounts that you see, like that of Syrian Girl or Jackson Hinkle or Daniel Hakikachu or Hijab, all of these guys have been trying to tell us that Hamas has got an upper hand on the IDF, and IDF is looking for a way out, when in reality, that's not the case. It's actually America that has pressured Israel into going into this momentary pause so you could get as many hostages out as possible. And Hamas obviously knows that too.
America and the family of the hostage. There's a lot of infighting right now happening within Israel as well, between the family of the hostages and the government.
As it should, because obviously the family members of the hostages, they would obviously want their loved ones freed from Hamas's captivity. But what Muslim propagandists are doing online, this is such despicable and vile behavior from these people that I really get disgusted, Armin. And it takes me a lot to get disgusted by vile behavior that we see online, because I think we have seen so much that we think that, like, okay, well, how low can one get? But people like Jackson Hinkle, the Syrian Girl, and so many other Muslim accounts, like even Five Pillars retweeted this. They have been trying to push this narrative, Armin, that one of the released hostages, this poor young woman who was shot in the foot, and you can see bandages around her feet. And look at this despicable Putin's dick rider, Jackson Hinkle. He's saying he won't marry you. They're running with this narrative that Hamas terrorists have been treating these Israeli hostages so nicely that they don't even want to go. How despicable can that be? Look at this. Look at this propagandist. She's a Muslim woman. He doesn't want to go. And laughing emojis. I mean, how
She
low can
literally
we get?
can't. She shot her in the foot. She literally can't if she wanted to.
Imagine her seeing these tweets. Imagine. I really hope that she's been advised by people who are looking after her that please don't go on social media, because this world has really gone to shit. The real story is, actually, before I go into that, I just want to comment on this pathetic individual, whoever that coward is, this Khalisi woman. Maybe she has a fantasy of marrying or get romantically involved with the person who has held your brother as a hostage. Maybe she has a weird fantasy for these kind of people. But this is what the truth is. Her brother, this is her brother. Her brother is still in Hamas's captivity. This is the reason why she's cooperating. This is the reason why she's not antagonizing her brother's captors. The reason why they're so cooperative and they're putting up these fake smiles is because they are still their captors. Look at this one. You can even hear them say, "Oh, keep waving." Listen to this.
Keep waving. Keep waving.
You hear that? Keep waving. Keep waving. And they're putting these fake smiles on. Of course. What do you think? These idiotic people who are saying, look how so happy they are. Do they really think that, okay, people who are pointing guns at your heads, they're going to be like, F you, ha ha, we're going. Is that how you think they're going to behave? Well, of course they're not going to behave that. They're going to be like, oh, thank you, you're so nice. And then when you get out of there, then obviously there is a whole rehabilitation process. There is therapy. And then they go, oh, this is the reason why the Israeli government is not letting them speak to media. They did not go on a freaking picnic where they're going to come back and they're going to talk about their experience. People have to go to therapy for years to get over this traumatic experience. And this woman who got shot in the head, she's limping, she's got bandages. And they're saying, she wants to marry this captain. And you know where this mentality, Armin, comes from? This actually comes from Islamic, I have to say this. Behind every filthy action of a Muslim, there is a practice of the Prophet. I believe a lot of our people would be aware of this story of Jawaria. Jawaria was a Jewish woman, and the story is detailed on Ibn Ishaq, page 491 and page 493. And also the story of Safiya. That is also on the biography of Muhammad, page 515. And there is another story on page 185. I'll explain it all of them to you. Juwairiya and Safiya, these two were young Jewish women. Prophet Muhammad attacked their tribes, killed their fathers and brothers and half of their family members, and then he actually took them for himself and slept with them. In one of the stories, when Muhammad was having sex with Safiya, one of Muhammad's guards stood outside, and Muhammad said, why are you guarding me? He said, you just massacred her entire family. We thought that she's going to kill you. Yes, that is a natural reaction. But Muslims believe that they are so self-righteous and they are so handsome Casanovas that even if they kill their family members, women are just going to fall in love with them. This propaganda is actually coming from genuine belief. They probably genuinely believe that these Israeli women have fallen in love with Hamas men who actually have tortured and massacred their family members. This is how pathetic these people are. What do you make out of this whole Muslim propaganda? How low can they get?
It is very low. It is very vile. It is very intelligent, evil and intelligent. You have to give it to them. You have to give to Hamas how well they're playing the media. You know, people keep acting like it's the Jews that control the media, but you can see how much Israel has failed in controlling the narrative. Hamas has won the propaganda game very, very effectively, and a lot of people are falling for it. The thing that Hamas has in its advantage is Jew hatred, widespread Jew hatred around the world, and it's playing that so well in its advantage. We ever since October 7th, Hamas has made one intelligent decision when it comes to controlling the media after the other one. It's important for us to recognize our enemy's strengths when we see it, because this is not, if you dismiss their strength, you're not going to be very effective at confronting it. All these people that you're seeing, they're coming out with their tweets showing, making light of or showing how Hamas is good to the hostages. This is exactly what Hamas was expecting. They released these videos. Imagine the contrast. Imagine these are the very same people who on October 7th, they moved into Israel and they burned people alive. They killed men, women, and children, civilians. And we have, this is recent. This is not years ago. This is just in October this year. And a lot of us were having a hard time imagining people sympathizing with Hamas after that. But Hamas completely understood that the price that they paid for popularity would have been very short term. They understood the level of Jew hatred that exists around the world much more than a lot of other people who couldn't understand how could they ever recover from that. And so close to that event, people are now celebrating Hamas as these kind, gentle people who treat hostages nicely. The people that are being released, a lot of them had their families killed in the worst inhumane way possible. I mean, when we say never forget, like, it used to take years before people forgot. Now it takes less than months. It's unbelievable the level of Jew hatred that has become so. It was always widespread. It was always the level of Jew hatred always existed in society underneath the surface. It just takes events like this for us to see it. I mean, I'm seeing a lot of Jews around the world who think that this was just something that their grandparents said, now realizing how deep rooted this is globally. Imagine what Hamas has to do. You go rape, kill, and torture and burn alive civilians, and all you have to do for people to come celebrate you as humanist, kind, gentle militia group is to wave when you're releasing the hostages. And all you have to do to convince people that you are a kind, gentle group is to make sure that the hostages are smiling and waving back. while you're holding guns, while the hostages don't know if they're going to be released or not, while you're holding their family. And how gullible or evil. I hope that you're gullible. I hope that if I tell you that you're gullible, I'm defending you, because if you're not, you're evil. How gullible or evil do you have to be to fall for that? Each one of those people, each one of those tweets that you showed me, they are propaganda arms of Hamas. They are part of a terrorist group. They're acting as propaganda for one of the most vile groups in our lifetime. They're part of a terrorist organization. They're acting like the media arm of it. And you are defending the indefensible. I don't know how they sleep at night.
Yeah, wow.
Well, I just wonder that if I came over to these people who are posting those tweets that you showed me, if I came and stole their, one of their children, killing one of their children, one of their loved one, and stole one of them, and threaten to kill them while I hold them, unless they do something that I want, and then when I release them, just wave at them and smile at them when I'm releasing them, would they consider me, after all I inflicted upon them and their family, would they consider me somebody
Yeah.
kind? And would they do that? Would they be this charitable just
No.
because I did that final act? I don't know. Well, I wonder. Not that I would do that to your family.
Let's steelman their position, even though obviously they're holding guns, so they're holding rest of their family members hostages. They don't know whether they're going to make it or not, or they're going to get a bullet at the back of their head. They don't know any of that. So that's why they're smiling, they're cooperating. So let's just
Yep.
say they genuinely did treat them better. Let's just
Yep.
steelman their position. Even then, does that absolve them of shooting little girls? Obviously, we can't show every video on YouTube, but does that absolve them of burning people alive? Does that absolve them of shooting them point blank range? No, it doesn't. If I did all of those bad things and then I come and just like say, oh, hey, how are you? Have you eaten? Have you had 3 meals? Does that mean I'm a good person? We just forget everything. We just forget everything. This is not in the distant past. We're not talking about 1973. We're talking about what happened right before our eyes on social media. Another propaganda item that I want to talk about, that so some of the prisoners that Israel released, Muslims have been portraying them as some peaceful, young, innocent teenagers. For example, this one. Look at these one. 2015, 2023. They're saying, oh, look at this. He was just a kid. They just throw rocks at them. Now, I don't obviously know every single story. There could have been some miscarriages of justice, but Muslims will never admit this.
Yes.
Look at this. There's so many of such behavior where they would attack randomly with knife. They would go after people. And then there's so many knife attacks. There was this woman, I remember, I think that it's not featured in this video. There's so many of such videos where they qualify every definition of terrorism.
So what I defend is the international conventions and rules that internationally the countries have agreed upon. And we need to, whether you agree with the details of these international conventions or not, we do need a set of agreements for peace and stability around the world, right? So my understanding is that the United Nations conventions on the rights of the child, to which Israel is a signatory to, emphasizes that arrest, detention, or imprisonment of a child should be used as a measure of last resort and for the shortest appropriate period, right? So that what Israel has done to those children seems to me, again, I am no expert on international law, so I could be completely wrong about here, but based on my very simple understanding, seems like a violation of international law. And I have no problem condemning what Israel is doing there to those children. It's easy, because as somebody who supports Israel, as somebody who considers himself a Zionist, I consider myself a Zionist, and I support Israel, and I support Israel's right to defend itself. As somebody who loves Israel, I criticize Israel because Israel does many things wrong. Israel does many things right, and Israel does many things wrong. The proper way to love any country is to criticize its flaws and not to act like it doesn't have any flaws. I see that as a flaw within Israel. I see that as a potential.
You said you're not an expert. We're not experts, but But seemingly, if Israel is accused of breaking international law, then that weaponizes anti-Israel narrative. Yeah, that's what you're
Yeah,
saying.
it does do that. But even if it didn't, I would just be condemning it simply because it's a violation of international laws, right? So it's it's a violation, and I condemn it. Easy. I don't have to. Our support for Israel is not black and white. Yeah.
But just to be fair, you're not saying that every single case, obviously, because we don't have the details. I mean, if
No.
they're,
Of course.
yeah,
Of course,
Just to
I'm just giving you a lot of details. Like, I don't know, maybe somebody will come and provide me some details that I would change my mind. I'm just doing on surface what it seems like to me. That could be wrong. This seems like a violation, and it's so easy for me because we don't see things in black and white. But just because we're supporters of Israel, that doesn't mean that we're going to condone everything that Israel does. Of course, there's going to be examples of things that we could condemn. And this could be one of them. It could be easily. I have no problem saying, okay, if this is a violation of international law, okay, then I condemn it. Easy peasy.
Well, guys, hope you like this video. Please like, share, subscribe to my channel. Become a patron by going to patreon.com/Haris Sultan, or you can also subscribe to Atheist Republic. And Amin Nawabi is the founder of Atheist Republic. So do subscribe his channel as well.
Yeah, our YouTube channel is not that big. We're big in other places, so we need support on YouTube. So come subscribe to our YouTube channel, Atheist Republic. Thank you.
All right. Until next time, ta-da. Bye-bye. If you'd like to support my work, you can become my patron by going to patreon.com/Haris Sultan, or you can simply buy me a coffee.